Okay, I'm going to read you a book because we can't always call, but I thought I would read some stories, and I'm in the church's library right now anyway. So this is called Marigold and Grandma on the Town. The Hat. I can't really see, sorry. Marigold and Grandma were going to town. Would you like a new hat for spring? Asked Grandma. Will it have ribbons and flowers on it? Asked Marigold. If you want ribbons and flowers, you'll have them, said Grandma. Grandma took Marigold to Duffy's department store. They went through the revolving door and up, up, up to the hats. There were big hats and small hats, square hats and round hats. There were lots of hats with ribbons and flowers. I like the blue one with pink ribbons and white flowers, said Marigold. The saleslady took the hat down and put it on Marigold's head. Oh my, something is not right, said Grandma. Let's try it this way, said the saleslady. She tucked Marigold's ears inside the hat. That looks better, said the saleslady. Do you like it? Marigold did not say anything. Do you like the hat? Asked the saleslady again. Marigold just stood there. She couldn't hear a thing. I think I know the problem, said Grandma. She took the hat off Marigold's head and said, Do you like the hat, dear? Asked Grandma softly. Yes, I do, says Marigold. We'll take it, said Grandma. And we would like to borrow a pair of scissors, please. Grandma paid for the hat. Then she cut 2 holes in it. That looks just right, said Grandma. Oh, yes, said Marigold. This is just what I wanted. Marigold wore her hat out of the store. She heard every nice word that was said about it. Would you like to go to the park and feed the ducks? Asked Grandma. Yes, said Marigold. I will show the ducks my new hat. Marigold held her head up high. Whoosh! The wind blew Marigold's hat right off her head. My hat, cried Marigold. Grandma and Marigold ran after the hat. I will get it, said the pretzel man, but the hat flew to the right. I'll get it, said the lady selling the newspapers, but then the hat flew to the left. I think I can get it, said a policewoman. She jumped up and grabbed the hat. Thank you, said Marigold. Let's put it in the box for now, said Grandma. Quack, 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 quack. Marigold heard the ducks as she ran to the pond. Hello, ducks, said Marigold. I have some bread for you. She tossed some bread to the ducks. Whoosh! The wind blew the bread right back at Marigold. Marigold tried again, but the same thing happened. Go away, wind. First you blew my hat. Now you won't let me feed the ducks, shouted Marigold. Try to make friends with the wind, said Marigold's grandma. I don't think the wind wants to be my friend, said Marigold. Maybe it does, said Grandma. The wind could maybe help you make a wish. How? Said Marigold. See those dandelions across the pond? Asked Grandma. You blow on a dandelion and make a wish. The further the seeds fly, the faster your wish will come true. Marigold and Grandma hurried to the other side of the pond. Marigold picked the fluffiest dandelion she could find. She then closed her eyes and said softly, I wish I could feed the ducks. Marigold took a big, deep breath and blew on the dandelion. Suddenly, the wind came up behind Marigold and whoosh! The wind carried the seeds across the pond. Marigold smiled. Grandma, my wish is going to come true right away, said Marigold. Yes, it is, said Grandma. The wind just had to be behind you to help. Marigold tossed the bread again, and whoosh, the wind blew the bread to the ducks. Quack, quack, said the ducks to their new friend, Marigold. Thank you, said Marigold to her new friend, the wind. I'm hungry, said Marigold. Me too, said Grandma. They walked to Henry's coffee shop. Yoo-hoo, Henry, come and meet my wonderful granddaughter. I'll be there in a minute, Henry called. I've told him all about you, says Grandma. The waiter led Marigold and Grandma to a table. We would like 2 egg salad sandwiches and a cup of tea for me and a glass of milk for my wonderful granddaughter, said Grandma. Marigold sat up extra tall. She wanted to look wonderful. May I have a pickle, Grandma? Said Marigold when their lunch came. Yes, you may, said Grandma. Marigold put her paw into the bowl and swirled it around. Oh, Marigold, said Grandma, please use a fork. Sorry, said Marigold. That was not a very wonderful thing to do, said Marigold to herself. I'm glad Henry didn't see me. Marigold found a pickle and ate it in 3 bites. Hick, hick, hick. She had the hiccups. Hiccups were not wonderful. Marigold held her breath to get rid of them. Just then, Henry came to the table. Hello, Marigold, said Henry. I'm so glad to meet you. Hick, said Marigold. Henry reached out to shake Marigold's paw. When Marigold reached out, hick, wham! Milk was everywhere. Marigold began to cry. Oh, she knocked it over because she had the hiccups. Don't worry, said Grandma. It's all right. Marigold looked at her lunch. I thought you were hungry, said Grandma. I'm not so hungry anymore, said Marigold. What's the matter? Asked Grandma. I was trying to be wonderful, but I know I was not, said Marigold. I think you're wonderful all the time, said Grandma. Really? Asked Marigold. Really, said Grandma. Marigold felt much better. Henry came back with a fresh glass of milk and a piece of carrot cake. I give carrot cake to all my wonderful customers, said Henry. Marigold looked at her carrot cake and started to smile. Grandma, said Marigold, will I still be wonderful if I pick up the cake with my paws, if I lick the icing off the top, and if I get icing on my whiskers and wipe it on my sleeve? You will still be wonderful, said Grandma, but you'll be in trouble too. I'll use my fork, said Marigold, and she took a bite of the cake. How is it? Grandma said. Wonderful, said Marigold. Home again, sang Grandma and Marigold as they walked up Willow Street. They liked Willow Street. They liked to look in the store windows, and sometimes they went inside. There was Pete's Pizza, but they just had lunch. There was My Little Card Shop, but they didn't need any cards. Then there was Say Cheese, the photo shop. Let's stop here, Marigold, said Grandma. I want a picture of you in your new hat. Do we have to? Asked Marigold. Marigold didn't want to have her picture taken. It will only take a minute, said Grandma. Marigold made a grumpy face, and she rolled her eyes all the way up. She pushed her eyebrows way down and turned the corners of her mouth to her chin. Grandma looked at Marigold and smiled. That's the perfect face, she said. As they walked into the photo booth, Grandma closed the curtains. Would you like to put in the quarters? Asked Grandma. Marigold put the quarters into the machine and a red light blinked. Ready, said Grandma. Grumpy face, click. Silly faces, said Marigold. Click. Smile, said Grandma. Click. Hug, said Marigold. Click. And that was the best picture of all. And that was Marigold and Grandma on the town. Okay, I will read another one, but I'll do separate videos so you can listen to them one at a time.